Hey, what's up, y'all? So here we are continuing our trek through Northern California, and this time we are in Napa Valley or thereabouts, and we're going to look at Six Flags Discovery Kingdom. So first up, the walk from the parking lot to the entrance is a total schlep. It is like a mile or something. It took forever to get to the entrance, but once you get there, the park itself is very pretty, I have to say. I think this seems to be the norm for most of the parks that I visited in Northern California. They're very well landscaped. Six Flags Discovery Kingdom is no exception. I really enjoyed just the overall look of the park. But naturally, the first thing we headed for was Joker. This conversion of Roar has gotten a lot of negativity, I think, unfair negativity, actually. A lot of folks consider it to be the worst of the RMCs, but I myself found it to be a really enjoyable ride. One of the things I really liked about this coaster was the mix of elements that it has throughout, from ejector air to the overbanks, the hang time, and so forth. It's got a nice layout, and that's something for me personally that I really look for in a coaster. You can have a really good ride that's just nothing but one repetitive element after another, but something like Joker that really mixes it up, I really enjoy that in a ride. In fact, it reminded me quite a bit of Wicked Cyclone, and that was the first RMC I ever rode, and still one of my favorites. Now, there were two major downsides to the day with Joker. First was that they only have one train ops going on, and from what I understand, this has been happening for some time now, so I don't know if it's the norm from now on or what. On the positive side, though, the ride ops were really hustling. I definitely have to give them high fives because they were trying to get folks through the gate and onto the ride as quickly as possible. And as much as I'm not a huge fan of these enforced locker policies that a lot of parks are implementing, it does really help out in a situation like this where you only have one train operation. And the second issue with Joker was that the ride kept going down throughout the day. In fact, the first time we rode it, it went down for about 25 minutes. And then immediately after we got off the second ride, it went down again. So, yeah, it kept going down, but on the positive side, the maintenance crew was on hand, and they usually fixed it fairly quickly, so it wasn't too much of an issue. So on this side of the park, both Vertical Velocity and Harley Quinn were down, but we did go on Superman next. This is the second of the premier Skyrocket 2 models that I've ridden, with the first being Tempesto at Busch Gardens Williamsburg. And just like on Joker, the ride ops are really hustling to get people on and off the ride, which really helps with the capacity when you consider the shorter trains and the shuttle operation. So good job. So up next, we walked over to Medusa. Now, I, for one, love B&M floorless rides. I think they're a lot of fun. To me, they actually give more of a feeling of flying than inverted rides do for some reason. I'm not quite certain why that is, but this has a great first drop. I really liked it. It's got a little bit of air, a long drop into this huge loop. Of course, I love a dive loop. If you've been watching for some time, you'll know that that's my favorite element. And then after, you've got a sea serpent roll, obviously, and then after the mid-course break, the ride continues on with some corkscrews and some general helixes and so forth. I generally think sometimes that B&M rides tend to sort of slow down after the mid-course break run, but Medusa, I thought, did not suffer from that issue, and I really enjoyed that ride. And another great thing was they had two trains running, so there was minimal wait in the station, and we got to ride Medusa as many times as we wanted. So we walked around some more, enjoyed the rest of the rides. Didn't really check out any of the sea exhibits. I have a coaster buddy who told me I was nuts for not doing that, but a few of them were closed and so forth. To be honest, we didn't really go much farther back in the park because almost everything is up in the front, so there really wasn't too much reason for us to go towards the back. So unfortunately, this was the last park of the trip. I have to say, Northern California has a nice lineup of parks in a relatively small area, and you can definitely be in the region for, say, a week and hit them all up and still have time to see the sights around the area. I think we were there for 9 or 10 days, which was a more leisurely pace, obviously, but I really enjoyed my visit, and I really had a good time. So if you ever get a chance, definitely check all these parks out. California's Great America, Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk, and of course Six Flags Discovery Kingdom. So next weekend I am headed to Kennywood for Steel Curtains opening weekend, so be on the lookout for the video following my trip. As always, leave questions, comments, tell me I'm wrong, yada yada yada, but that's going to be it for this video. Take care and enjoy the ride.